When we think of acting, we think scripted drama. But there's a whole world of performance opportunities out there. And so one of the things I love about bringing in guests is that little glimpse into their pocket of the industry. So I'm super excited to introduce you to a friend of mine, Leah Vandenberg, who's not only an actor and prominent voiceover artist, but a TV presenter and writer on Play School, Australia's beloved, longest-running children's TV series. So I asked, what does it take to make an episode of Play School? So how long have you been with Play School, and how did Play School come into your life?
This is my 25th year. It actually is my 26th, but my 25th year on air. And I was asked to audition after I'd done GP, which was an ABC series, a medical drama. So that show wrapped, and then I was invited to audition.
Do you remember the audition?
Yeah.
What did you have to do?
I remember I had to do the Zoom song, Zoom, 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 Zoom. You had to learn quite a bit of dialogues because you know, the scripts are 30 pages long and we don't have auto cue. So we have to know it. So we had to learn a song, dialogue, and maybe had to do some craft, all in sequence. And our beautiful producer at the time was in the room, and I think the keyboardist that was there too. So, yeah, we sang, I sang, and I danced, and it was really fun.
And so how many episodes would you do in a year?
Oh, a year.
Yeah. Because it's not necessarily full-time.
No,
You're part
not
of a
at
larger
all.
Play School family. But
It's so dependent on, because it's shot in Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
So as a Melburnian, I am used less than Sydney people. So sometimes I might only do 2 or 3 a year. And other times, like just a couple of weeks ago, I did another show, ABC Kids, and I did 5 episodes of that and a Play School episode. So I did 6 episodes in 3 days.
Wow. What skills do you need to be a presenter on Play School? Because it's kind of a unique program.
Yeah.
You know, a specific audience, specific subject matter. So what are the useful skills?
I think it's a compilation of, or a combination of, being able to be a responsible adult in a space that is a playful, childlike environment. So you have to have this sense of spontaneity and freedom and playfulness and kind of no filter, and just play with your inner child and imagine the world that your inner child would like. But at the same time, being mindful as the adult, because you do have a lot of dialogue to learn and there's no backup. And so there's that, as well as on the script, we've got 3 cameras. And so there'll be, you know, dialogue that's done to a particular camera. But if I have Little Ted or Big Ted, then they may be on camera 1 or camera 3, and their dialogue might be to another camera. So the script is written as such, like camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, right. And, you know, and so you are technically having to be
coordinate.
Yeah,
physically.
And so there's a combination of this childlike, playful space as well as a very technical mind, and making it feel like...
Those crafts are really hard.
Yeah. Oh, the crafts? I know, they're my least favourite. When I go through the script and I go, oh, no, I'm making a basket. And it's like, no, because it's so...
And everyone's watching.
Yeah, but I think maybe that's part of it too, because I'm quite childlike when I and I'm making things or drawing things, and I'm no Matisse.
And it's okay if things go wrong, isn't it? Like, as long as you pick them up again, and
kind of.
Like if the sticky tape doesn't stick exactly as you expected.
Yeah. But I do remember one of my first episodes, and I was with Simon Burke, and we were having to throw balls into a soccer thing, goal thing. The ball that I kept sort of trying to get into there wasn't going in. And I went, oh, I'm not very good at this. And I was like, no. So that commentary of me not being good, you know, that's not the world we're advocating. Like, it's okay to not be able to get the ball into the hoop or whatever. So things can go wrong, but you've got to kind of be mindful of your own commentary as well. Yeah. So, you know, we obviously went again on that. But, yeah, sometimes you just carry on.
And so how do you find the right, you kind of touched on it before, how do you find the right tone for your delivery?
You relate as best you can to the child not as a teacher, not as a parent, but as a friend. I think it's just really important to not patronize and just be for me, I will look into the camera and I will imagine a child. And often that child will be someone who, is just needing some company.
Yeah.
And wants to laugh and play. And the myriad of children that watch the show have so many different backgrounds, and and English may not be their first language. So I just want to be a gentle, kind, playful friend to the child. So it's your intention, that's how you find it. Yeah.
And so how much preparation do you get per script? Like how early do you get a script
We
before filming?
rehearse, and then we only get like half a day usually. Sometimes we get a little bit more. And then a week later, you go in and you bang bang.
So do you do rehearsal on set for that first?
In a rehearsal room at the ABC.
In a rehearsal room,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so we rehearse it, and we've got early childhood advisors there as well, and it's quite, the script doesn't change a lot, but you do as a presenter have the agency, I suppose, to be able to then go, this doesn't feel right, or things around content or specific ways that we're doing things, that will always change. And so it is quite collaborative at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and a week later we shoot, sorry.
Do you get the script ahead of that first rehearsal, or is it the first rehearsal that the first time you see the script?
Yeah, no, we get it not a lot, no, maybe I don't know, 4 days or something like that. For me, I don't learn that because it changes so much, and so often for me again, to unlearn dialogue is harder because it kind of gets ingrained. And so I just go in there familiar with the script, but no, I don't learn.
And are the scripts scripted word for word or scripted around ideas? Like how much space is there for improvisation? How much is word for word?
I'd say 98%.
Yeah.
Because, and I think that's another skill of presenters, is that people will often think that we're just making it up. And you couldn't get further from the truth, really, because the cameras are reliant on your cues as well. And we have to be we've got a really strict time to have the episode in, and the words are scrutinized as well. Oh my goodness, there's many conversations over what particular word is the best word to use for that particular idea. So the episodes are usually based on a theme or an idea, whether it's family or machines or music. Or I wrote an episode recently that you helped with my song in. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that was all about allyship and friends. And so that theme is unpacked in a way for a 3-year-old to understand. And now we've got a whole education resource as well that's accompanying that. So it's what's kind of relevant for the time as well.
Yeah. And so on a filming day, do you do a rehearsal before you commit to filming it, like a camera rehearsal or something, or do you just go straight in on that day and
yeah, we're on, like
Yeah.
and you get in at 6:45 in the morning, and
how many takes do you get?
no, you don't get. Sometimes lucky you might get it in one.
Is that because they want spontaneity?
Well, there's
rather than
no
let it get
time
stale?
because you shoot 2 episodes in one day. So you think about 2 half-hour television
Yeah.
in one day. That, like, when I did drama, it was a week to do a half an hour of television. We're in there 6:45, hair and makeup. The last thing you feel like doing is deglumping and being a frog or jumping up and down. But again, you go back to your intention. You remember the child that you're doing it for, and that fuels you to wake up, Leah. Because, I'm a terrible sleeper. So it was like 6:30. It's like, okay, here we go.
And so do you film the whole thing as an episode, or do you film in segments?
Segments. Yeah, we don't necessarily start at the beginning. Usually we will start at the beginning, but it's not always in sequence. And you're really reliant on your buddy, your fellow presenter as well. Yeah, you're really
Bounce
holding
off each other.
space. Yeah, for each other. Yeah. And sometimes you'll be getting really close to the end of a segment and you may forget a line or they may forget a line and it's pretty critical. And ideally they'll jump in. Or there were many times where I would finish not many times, but there were times where I'd say, we'll finish a segment and the last line will be, let's look through the windows. And I will then get that far and go, let's look at the clock. Oh, and you have to go all the way again. Often there weren't cut points and you'd have to go from the beginning. Yeah, again. And it's so stressful.
So what kind of pressure is there
Oh, it's high.
on the day? Yeah.
It's high. Yeah.
Because it's time constrained, but there's a lot of moving parts between coordinating with the piano, doing the crafts, dancing, singing.
Making sure you've hit all those
Yeah.
points as well in the script and you haven't mucked up your lines in the song. You haven't fallen over when you danced. You're also aware that there's many eyes on you. It is the national broadcaster. So it's, it's quite a big responsibility, but the biggest responsibility is always the audience, the children. And even like you just making sure that the toys are in shot and you might be doing a segment and you'll notice that Jemima's fallen over a bit. And so, you'll prop her up or you might do
duty of care.
That's right. You might even finish the whole segment and you might have to do it again because one of the toys is actually just fallen asleep. And you go, oh, that's really noticeable because the kids are looking at that. Yeah.
So when you go to like Jemima's agent and make a bit of a complaint, she's falling asleep on the job.
Oh no, she's probably. I suffer from the same thing. Yeah, she could go complain about me.
You all have to sing on the show. Some of you are singers, some are not. What are the guidelines for the singing style? Because it's not kind of big Broadway belty.
No. Yeah, I think it's truthfulness, isn't it? I feel like when I first started, there were potentially more singers, maybe, and now there's more presenters who aren't natural singers. But it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it's really about your connection with the child.
You're not performing at them.
No, it's. No. I think that's one of the things about the presenter style as well. Yeah, because you're not doing and all that jazz. But sometimes you might be doing that as a playful part of the song. But generally, it's it's not showtime. But sometimes I feel like the style of the show is shifting over the years, and sometimes it's a bit more performative. But it's kind of dependent on the context and the tone of the song. Yeah. If it's a lullaby, then but the big stuff that's you're going to lose the child, I think, in that.
Yeah.
Do you think? What do you think? What do you remember?
Well, to me, it seems that what you're wanting to do is to include the child, and if it's too big, it seems like something they should be watching rather than participating in.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Because if you're singing "Shake Your Sillies Out," shake, shake, shake my sillies out. If you want the child to shake, shake, shake your sillies out, so you're not going to go. You're going to shake, shake, shake your sillies out. It's like, who's that lady? Oh, she's a bit annoying.
Yes.
It's like just be you. And there's going to be times where you won't like the sound of your voice. Like that.
What does it mean to be part of the bigger play school family? Because it's not just play school. There are live performances, there are albums, there are all sorts of things involved in the play school machine.
Yeah. It is an institution, isn't it? It's 59 years this year. It's coming up to its 60th. I know it sounds trite, but it is an honour and a privilege. I just feel really. Yes, stomach. Yes. Can you hear that? An honor and it is an honor and privilege, and I feel just enormous sense of love, I think.
Because it seems to me watching it that the presenters really invest in the responsibility of what they're doing.
Completely. I mean, that's probably one of the key things is that that responsibility that you hold, because you will see children. I mean, I see children who are now in their 20s who have grown up, who grew up watching me when they were little, and the responsibility that you carry for that part of their childhood, and also because of my South Asian ancestry, and there were no other South Asian presenters when I joined, and that being a place for a child to see themselves, and be able to also, introduce content that has South Asian language in it and things like that. It is a big responsibility, and there's a cultural responsibility there too from me because of my ancestry. Yeah.
So how's that informed your writing? So you're now writing some episodes.
Yeah.
How has that whole experience informed how you write? And has writing informed how you present?
Oh, yeah. Maybe the presenting's informed how I write.
Yeah.
Yeah. Firstly, I came on board as a writer simply because I asked. Because I'd been contributing ideas all the way through, and often, suggesting things that are from, a South Asian kind of perspective. And then I thought, well, we actually don't have any women of color from what I know, on the writing team. I thought, I'm just going to put my hand up. And so it was pretty much within days I was then offered to write the opportunity to write a script. And we did a script about India, actually. We were doing different countries. And so I was able to then connect with my community and be able to write a song it was actually in Punjabi, and I'm not Punjabi, but I am part of that community as a non-Punjabi friend. Being able to introduce things like Punjabi language in song and bring in people from the community. So it was a really special app because there were two musicians, Punjabi musicians, and bringing out in traditional instruments. And so that responsibility again, isn't it, of not just bringing in language but sounds as well that aren't typical for play school in the sense of piano is what we generally have, but bringing in a big dul, which is, the big drum, and a tumbi, which is the single string instrument. And those sounds bring in a sense of familiarity for children who know those instruments, but also they attune the curiosity and cultivate a familiarity with those who don't. So, and that's part of why I wanted to be in play school in the first place, just because this face needs to be seen for inclusion's sake and representation. But bringing in those things, the feedback that we got from community, some uncles were in tears. They just said, thank you so much, because they didn't grow up with that. And being seen is so important as a child, just being able to feel that sense of validation. So, yeah, I think it's representing as honestly the reality that children live in. I think it's as simple as that. And so that children can see themselves reflected. And we know that when you don't see yourself reflected as a child, that has a damaging effect on your development. And that sense of exclusion it can have very negative impacts for a child.
So we're talking before about writing for play school. Is what's that structure? Is there a writer's room, or is there a head writer, or is the script given to an individual? What's the writing and editing?
Yeah,
process?
It's a good question, because there's a lot of people in the room. There's the producer, the childhood advisor, there's the outliner, and so the idea has kind of comes to you, and then you are unpacking that idea within the different segments, whether it's the song, the craft, a story. Like for the last script that I did with the Allies and Friends, that was probably more collaborative than usual because I guess my lived experience as well is feeding into that, because we're talking about the diversity and inclusion and cultural representation. So there was more of a lean in kind of to the writer on this, but that particular episode. Other scripts, I had to do one around maths.
Right in your
Why?
wheelhouse.
Why? Me? Maths. Maths. And I was like, oh, so we were talking about percentages and proportions and volume and things. So they've already kind of come up with what they kind of
Concept.
want in particular segments, and then you're kind of filling in that with dialogue and ideas, and sometimes maybe write a song. Or the last script I did, I think that was about 7 drafts. It was a very long process because of the nature of the content, and it being a very delicate space, and extra mindfulness on that one. And a lot of people have input, and so it's juggling all of these different perspectives.
So you can't be too precious about your own vision.
You have to give and take, and at the same time, sometimes you might feel like quite certain.
Is there room to pull rank and say, actually, no, I feel very strongly about this?
It's not like a screenwriter or a playwright. The writer for Play School hasn't necessarily come up with the idea of the script. So pulling rank, well, actually, no, you can't.
So we spoke before how you have a long-term association with Play School, but it's not full-time. But how important has it been to the continuity of income as an actor, as a performer?
Income-wise?
or at least the certainty to know that, there might be something else on the horizon.
There's no certainty with Play School. It's contract by contract. So
Okay.
show by show, contract by contract. You don't have a 6 month or a year. Or,
right.
So, yeah. So, at the beginning, you never knew if it was going to be your last one. And
keeps you hungry.
Literally, actually, yeah. And I used to joke that it just feels like community service because it's ABC. It's, that week that you have from getting the script to shooting, you're rehearsing by yourself. It's a lot of work to make it look like you're not actually reading lines or rehearsed lines at the end of the day. So you never know. Anything could happen. Anything could happen in any of our private lives that could then go, that person's actually not the right fit for Play School anymore.
So is there a morality clause or an expectation of certain behaviour outside of Play School? Either not just how you behave, but even like other roles that you take. Like if you're seen to be in a very adult role in a film, could that compromise your ability to continue?
Ideally not. I mean, I look at the presenters previous to me with, Noni Hazelhurst and doing films like Monkey Grip that are in, that adult realm. She's an actor.
Yeah.
So that should not.
And the kids aren't the audience for that.
That's right. And so all of us are actors on Play School. That is our livelihood. I think that I'm definitely more mindful of not so much the role. Well, I'm always mindful about the roles I take, but I think I've become a little bit more mindful of how I am publicly because children are in the room.
Documented these days.
Yeah, that's right. And children are in the room and children will recognize you. So you just sort of, watch your language and be mindful. I know I wasn't even seeing, I was on a date or something, and there was a chap who I think we were quite outside at a bar outside somewhere, and we were kind of, quite intimate, not doing anything, but in that sort of space, and
having a personal life.
Yeah, having a personal life, and a mother and a child where it's like, oh, there's Leah. It's like, my goodness, I could have done anything in that moment. Like we could have been having a little kiss or something. But like you just really, and then you had to put on your Play School face
on duty
because they want the hello and engagement and the photo. So you do become a bit more, I think, a bit more of a filter.
Yeah.
Not always, though.
What has play school taught you about you as a writer or performer or as a person, if anything?
Wow. That's a big question, isn't it?
Start at the beginning.
As a writer, it teaches me mindfulness on every word that I use for a child and language, and how I struggle with sentence structure. Um, and keeping it as a very, how to condense a quite complicated idea into a very simple way of
Economy.
Yeah, in a way that's understandable. So there's that's a real trick. Being a presenter is just so freeing. I think it's because I'm Leah. I'm not a character. And so that's a part of myself that I really like. And it's like, yay, I get to just play. And
you don't always get to do that in other roles where you're playing a character
no,
that's different to you, but to actually be yourself.
You're being me. Yeah, I'm being me. Yes. And I'm being an aspect of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the closest parts of me that I wish that I could embody more in life. I think too, because that it's meaningful work, and it's just what a privilege it is to be there to have a positive impact on a young child's life. It's like, does it get better than that? Probably, if there were animals as well. I do actually. It can impact animals in a positive way as well, in the way that we message around how to care for animals. So for me, I think it's really informed so much for me. It's just a reminder to tap into that innocent part of yourself and that truthful part, because children know when the BS is there. If you're not being honest, you're not going to have that.
Because it feels condescending if it's not being honest.
Yeah. They see the truth. I used to rehearse for my dog. True story. He was a great BS detector, and so he would be on the couch and tame us, and I would go, "Hi, I'm Leah today," and it was like, "Oh no,
insincere."
Yep. Yeah. And if you yeah, okay, no, you lost me, and so often that child was my dog to begin with, and he'd watch me do the songs and the dances and critique me. Yeah.
Seems a great way to end. Leah Vandenberg, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please show Leah some love in the comments and look out for our next chat about the world of voiceovers. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I know this has been a long one. I do love you. Make it out there. Be brilliant.